annual DemRoc Music and Entertainment Awards will be held at the beautiful Oceana Theater in Brooklyn, New York, December 16th, 2023. What an exciting time this would be as we strut the red carpet in celebration of us. It's a night of acknowledgement to our special honorees, exceptional artists and creatives, but most importantly, our culture in music and entertainment. So get your tickets now at frontlinetickets.com and eventbrite.com. See you there. I had to play that. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone that's locked in. You guys don't know what you in for tonight. Look here. We got the amazing, these two amazing guys, man. I've known Sherwyn pretty much all my life and Andre for the past 7, 8 years, right? So go ahead and introduce yourself. Start with Sherwyn.
Yeah. Hey guys, what's going on? How are you hearing me? Coming
Good.
in well? Okay. All right. Yeah. So Sherwin here, founder of Gospel Music Buzz. We are a faith-based marketing and media promotion platform. I mean, we do event coverage, assisting artists with creating a buzz and getting what they're doing out there with by way of placement on blogs, social media platform, curating our playlist through Spotify and doing interviews and so forth. So we've been in the space now, I want to say about maybe 10 or so years, just from the gospel music buzz side. Prior to that, I used to manage my wife before she fired me. That's a whole different story for another time.
Temporarily.
but,
Oh
but
man.
I married so I did that and I worked in that space for a bit. But again, we've definitely excited to be here this evening, with Sean and with Andre, and we're looking forward to this conversation.
All right, all right, all
Wow.
right.
Oh man. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Andre Mullen. I am the founder of the Paradigm Shift, a weekly newsletter to help artists, managers manage smarter. I am so excited, of course, obviously, to be chit chatting with two of my favorite guys, Sherwin and Sean.
Bless up.
And man, I'm really excited, really charged up. I think this weekend is the DemRoc Awards. Hope you got your tickets because
There
it's
you
about
go.
to be wild. But
Yes,
I'm
sir.
loving it. I'm really excited. And again, again, thanks for the opportunity, man, to just, you know, we chatting, you know what I'm saying? That's what
Yes,
we
sir.
doing. We chatting.
Yes,
We
sir.
chatting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Perfect, perfect introduction. First things first, fellas. And I'm gonna start with Andre. Um, what do you think an artist should do as the moment he realized that, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to become an artist. And let's say they have the talent and all these things. What's the first thing you think they should do? Three of the top things they
The
should
top
do.
the top three things. Wow.
Mhm.
One, artists need to understand their why. Um,
Take notes, people. Take notes, guys.
just just and you know, these guys know I'm a straight shooter. So um just saying that God told me to do this is good. However, there's more to that.
Hmm.
Um, there is your why is what helps you to move past the moments where you don't feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
And your why is your commitment. Your why is literally the thing that says, no matter whether or not people are listening, or what I think people are listening, whether or not I may have not have enough money, whether or not I don't know what to write, or I don't feel like writing, your why says I'm gonna do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So number one is why. You have to know your why. Number two, you really have to commit yourself to your craft. To say that you're an artist, I think that I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of artists say I'm an artist, and they don't really represent their art well. They're not committed to their art. They struggle with their art, to ping pong back and forth about whether or not you want to do the art. Yeah, that's where you start looking at things and you say, are you really committed to the art? Are you is this is what if this is what you say you want to do, and you have to commit to the art. You have to be about the art, and commit to making good art.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, learn the business. You cannot conduct yourself in the present marketplace, or the present uh, um, really marketplace, and you cannot conduct yourself with being able to create sustainability for yourself as an artist
Mm-hmm.
without knowing the business. Please do not sit there and say, well, I'm doing this for the love. I do a lot of things for the love,
Mm-hmm.
you know. um However, there has to what I do, my time, I should biblical biblical principle for you. The Bible says that whatever a man sows, he shall reap,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can't simply say you do this music for the love, even if you do it for the love of God, and not expect to reap. That is against the law of physics, and that is
Mm-hmm.
definitely against spiritual law. So understand, you need to know, at least have a working knowledge of the business of music, but also business in general. So those are the three things I really feel that you need to really know.
Mm-hmm. All right, what you say? What you say, Sherman?
Yeah, I think personally, again, a lot of what Andre spoke about, definitely 100%. I think once you arrive into the table, you have to arrive to the table understanding your purpose, right? Because that's going to be huge. Because once circumstances comes your way, once someone hurt your feelings, because there's going to be a lot of hurt feelings.
Mm-hmm.
When someone say something that you really think you knew 100%, and you've honed this thing so well, and then someone rolls up and say, what, I think whoever thought you that's just wrong.
Yeah.
So I would say, coming to the table with an open mind, just to not repeat anything that Andre said before, which I agree with everything that he said. I would say, come and be teachable, right?
That's a good.
Because in
That's good.
any new thing that you're getting into, and even if you're seasoned, right? Because even if you're seasoned in a thing, I tell artists all the time, when is the last time you went to a conference? Not just a concert. I said conference, where you can learn something, not just go there to hear someone riff and sing about different things, but there's so many big, I'm saying, so many different aspects, and things are constantly changing. And we'll give like an industry update after, what's going on with Spotify, what's going on with this, what's going on with that. But things are constantly changing, and unless you're at a place where you're constantly getting fed this information, it's going to be hard. When you were the label has individual that is dedicated to knowing everything new that's coming, everything that has happened before. But you being yourself, coming to the table, you're your own label. And you'll hear individuals mention that all the time. So I would say, be teachable, always going off to stuff, whether you're going the YouTube university route, going different routes where you're going somewhere to be taught something new. That would be the first thing. The second thing I would say is, invest time in mastering your craft. And that may sound a little bit like I'm saying before, but a lot of times where you're going out and you're learning new things and all of that, and you're networking and all of that. But once you've decided, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do, you want to now figure out, how can I maximize what I'm doing? How can I allow that every single time I release an album, if I'm spending $10,000 to release an album, how can I master this process or continually to improve upon this process, that I can now start getting back some of what I've put out there? So kind of learning the business, that, to allude to a little bit what Andre mentioned, learning and just diving deeper and deeper into that aspect. But also, don't be afraid to collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
So, going into it, and I want to say that as an important fact, because it's a lot of important things you can mention, but I'm just kind of going for a few of them. And the other one I would go with, like I said, is don't go into this thinking, it's just me. I'm going to be this star. I'm going to be this artist. I'm going to be able to do all of this by myself. But you want to go into it again with an open mind, like, hey, even if I wrote a song, I was speaking with someone just recently, and they have an artist that they're working with, and this artist wrote an amazing song. I mean, this song is just super, super dope. And the artist initially was thinking that they want to use the song for themselves, but then in speaking with someone else, they're like, you know what, I think this song would work best for this person. You
Mm-hmm.
hear that a whole lot of time, right? Sometimes you're gonna write a song, you're gonna think this song may be for you, but really this song may be for someone else. So also going back to that open mind, going back to that collaborative spirit, is that, hey, maybe this is not for my album, or maybe this is not the single I want to release. Let me now, sell this song to someone else, license it to someone else, all the other aspects around that framework with it. But thinking of it from that standpoint, because again, there's different ways of kind of achieving those goals, but you want to just go in there, invest the time, do what you're doing when it comes from learning, conferences and so forth, getting the necessary information that you need to do, spending time mastering that craft. Because it's one thing to receive information, but what are you doing with that information, right? Incrementally implement that information bit by bit by bit. And then lastly, you want to have a collaborative spirit. If you're going anywhere, you want to build, you want to build up your network, you want to build up your friendships, you want to build up your industry peers, you want to constantly build when you go place. A lot of times I've gone into rooms and I'm seeing a lot of artists there, and the artist is looking to network with the A-listers, and that's perfectly okay. You want to get a photo op, but the same people that may be in your city, that you can have more of a direct collaborative effort. If three of you say, hey, I want to put on a show together, and I'm going to tap into your fan base and mine, and we can do something once a month, you would have a much more bigger impact
Mm-hmm.
than you just getting a photo with this A-lister and posting it online. Like, what is that doing? So I think, when you go into certain rooms, think networking before you think photo op. And I'll put it back to you.
Man.
All right. So this is the other part for me. Should artists right off the bat look for someone to manage them?
Um, I get asked this a lot, man. And my response is always the same. I believe every artist needs an artist manager.
Mm-hmm.
That's a short answer. The long answer is, and the addendum to that is, every artist needs an artist manager in order to scale their artist business.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot scale your artist business without a manager, or without a team of people
Mm-hmm.
that are going to help you scale it. Too many artists, and this is what I feel has always been my thrust with with my platform, my personal platform, and my newsletter, is to repair the breach between artist managers and artists.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I totally believe that artists are not coachable, and I believe that artist managers don't know the business. So what that does is create a very toxic cycle where artists say, I don't need a manager, which I can understand why. If you hear artists, managers that don't know the business, I don't need a manager that's going to sit there and wait for opportunities and and he doesn't know how to make us money. Of course not. So will an artist would anybody listen to someone who can't coach them, who can't help them to build? Of course not. So artists are not coachable. But artist managers don't know the business. So you have artist managers that don't know the business trying to manage artists. And they're trying to manage artists from this perspective of an old, antiquated system of artist management. So, hey, I'm your manager. I get 20%. And yeah, we're gonna wait to see, if these opportunities are gonna come. Or here I hear this a lot from artist managers, or people say, they say, you know what, when artists ask me, they they say, I'm always told that I don't have anything to manage. That's why an artist manager doesn't want to manage me. But I'm like, no, that's a cop out, because it's not about that you don't have anything to manage. That's not what it is. It's that artist managers don't know how to manage. So it's not just about, oh, well, Sherwyn, you're an artist. Oh, you're not doing anything. So I don't need to manage you because you don't have anything going on. No, that's not what it is. The bottom line is, and the fundamental thought here, artist managers is the fundamental thing that artist managers do. They take creative ideas and turn them into business models.
That's right.
That is the fundamental role of artist managers. So when an artist says, I want a manager, I need a manager to manage me, they really may not be at a place where they really can deal with having a manager, only because there's they really may be very new. And there is a lot. If an artist manager wants to, he can get involved with artist development. He can get involved with artist development. Some artist managers don't know artist development, so they don't work with up and coming artists. So there is that underlying cause where, when an artist says they need a manager, the artist has to really ask themselves, why do they need a manager at that particular time? If their answer is, oh, I'm trying to get ahead, or you know what, I'm trying to get on Gospel Music Buzz, or I'm trying to get here, then you don't need a manager. You don't need a manager. I tell every artist, this is your job and opportunity to make yourself visible and attractive to an artist manager. Good artists, great artist managers, successful artist managers find artists. They find artists. And I'm talking about they find good artists. They find good artists. They don't just say, oh, well, you know what? This girl over here, I heard her, she sounds amazing, I'm a manager. And then there's nothing. Now, again, unless you have a process and a system where you can take an artist from soup to nuts, you can take them and say, all right, I know how to develop you. I know how we can start beginning to work, beginning the process. That's one thing. But if you don't, and if you're an artist out here asking, saying, oh, I need a manager. You know how many artists I talk to tell me they need managers? And you know, first question I ask them, why? That's the question I ask. Why? Why do you feel you need a manager? Oh, well, I need connections. You need connections? Anybody can get connections. I like what you said, Sherwyn. Like, yo, go to a conference. Go to a conference, network. Go to events, network. All it is, hey, at the end of the day, show yourself friendly. You go to an event, you see Sherwyn there. Hey, Sherwyn, oh man, I love what you're doing with your platform. I follow you. Make yourself and show yourself friendly. And then when Sherwin goes, he says, "Yeah, man, I met this artist, man. He was really solid. Oh, snap. I'm looking at his stuff. This looks really good." Make yourself friendly. Stop looking for the hookup.
Mhm. So to add to that, what if an artist say, "That's not my personality. I don't feel like I have to go to conference because I get shows and I'm getting shows, but not as much, right? Like, what is the chances of them actually getting far if it is that they don't feel like conferences is important to them, getting in, pushing themselves into certain circle, um and maybe some might say that's my manager's position, place to do that. Like, what do you say to an artist that might be thinking that way? Sherwin, go
I
ahead.
can, yeah, I can jump in. I think the first thing I would say as it relates to that, right, is anyone that is just operating in isolation, you're already stifling what you're doing, right? Because at the
Mm,
bare core of a creative is that you build and you feed off of other things. And I'm not saying mimic, but I'm
mm,
saying inspiration. And inspiration is
mm,
gathered in different areas. So by you're going out, you can be sitting in something and someone is going to make a statement. Someone is going to say something and it's going to leap out at you. And
mm,
that may end up being a line you use in a song. It may end up giving you an idea for this thing that you've been sitting on. But just the main core of a creative is that you're going to be in a position whereby you're going to be fed and you're going to be able to get clarity on things. You can be able to just network and feed. And yes, we understand there's personality types. Someone going to say, hey, I'm a personality type where, I don't like XYZ or I don't like this. But at the same time, is that you got to ask yourself, right? There's certain things that may be deal breakers, but there's other things in which you have to now learn to develop that side of you.
mm-hmm,
Because if you want to stay on a journey, you want to be impactful and you want to be there for a long time, guess what? There's a lot of things I personally don't like doing, but I know in order to get to where I need to get to, I have to be able to do that.
that's it.
So I would say definitely it requires changing that mindset. It requires modifying what you initially think a thing to be and not just punt it off. Because just to answer, backstep a bit on the manager question, and I 100% agree with Andre on that, because even looking at his newsletters, looking at everything and seeing, talks that he's done when it comes to management, that's a whole different space and a whole different breed all by itself, right? And a lot of times, even when like I've always had, I've worked with artists on campaigns. It can be a 3-month campaign, a 4-month campaign, and they just love, hey, I love the way you follow up, you go after opportunities and so forth. What do you think about managing me? And I'm like, ooh, hold it here for a second. I'm doing what I'm doing well because I've harnessed this over a while, but
Because I don't manage you.
management is a whole different thing. I attempted it like at least twice. And after like the first 30 days with my recent artist, I was like, yeah, this person need an assistant. You don't need a manager. I'm not that person. The next thing I looked into, I was like, oh, wait, you need publicists. If you're going to spend money on a manager, I would say out the bat, you have some funds to spend, get yourself a booking manager, because you want someone that can now go out there and go ahead and and put you in the front line, whereby that if they're getting something, you're going to get something back from in between. So have someone out there, partner with a local promoter, partner with a local booking manager, partner with someone that can help to get you gigs where you can start bringing some money back in instead
Well,
of just paying it out.
you know what? I like to jump in on that
Sure.
because I think so. Even though we're the era of music now in this digital age is has given a lot of freedom and
Hmm.
has democratized, if you will, the playing field. I don't believe that I don't there may be some slight changes to what an artist manager is and what he does, but there are still some core things that are very important to the process. And one of those is that, and I've said this on social posts before. Um, Artist managers are the CEOs of artist business,
Mm.
right? When
Hmm.
you have a CEO, and everybody, we like to throw these terms around, these titles around. Oh, I'm the CEO, I'm this, I'm this. Listen, man, if you really know what a CEO does, if you really, really know what a CEO does, and any artist that is watching this, even artist managers, this is why you have to understand just business in general, not just the music business. Business in general, business acumen is critical because CEOs are responsible for the operations of a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that make sure that a company is profitable. Okay, let's bring this to artist managers who are CEOs. Artist managers make sure that artists are profitable. Artists don't make sure that they're profitable. See, artist managers make sure that artists are profitable.
Good artist management, but go ahead.
There you go. Right? That's thank you for that. Good artist managers make sure that artists are profitable. And guess what the CEO is responsible for? He's responsible for the organization. The artist manager is responsible for the team. So,
Mm-hmm.
as an artist, and I understand that there's artists out here that are self-managed. I understand there's artists out here that don't have managers, right? Again, I submit to you, if an artist wants to scale their artist business, they need an artist manager. And in order for an artist to really get those pieces, the publicist, Sherwyn, even the digital marketer, gospel music buzz, you know, content creators, these pieces that help undergird the work, the person who is central to that, the person who is central to that is the artist manager.
Mm-hmm.
Artists don't
Yeah.
know enough of the business to say, I need a PR person. I need, I have art, there's artists out here running in these streets talking about they need an A&R. And I'm like, what are you talking? Wait, you trying to say you need an A&R before you need an artist manager? So here it is. Why would I run to get a photographer as an artist when I could get the person who probably has connections to photographers and content creators? Why am I looking out here looking? I'm supposed to be in the studio making music. Because this is what artists tell me. Oh, I'm just trying to focus on the music. So why are you out here looking for a digital marketer? Why are you out here looking for a PR person? Why are you out here looking for a curator? If you all about the music, because you, for what, and that's what I said, there is a breach, fellas. There's a breach between artists and artist managers where artists really feel that they don't need artist managers. They feel, and you know what? I will even submit this. And hey, look, there might be some angry artists after I say this, but some of y'all just don't want to pay artist managers. So that's why you trying to scapegoat. Oh, I don't want to give them no 20%. I don't want to give them nothing. Let me go do this on my own. Well, keep doing it on your own. But then don't get mad. Don't be trying to on low key trying to recruit Sherwyn to manage you because he does good work. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because you're trying to bypass and manipulate the system. And let me tell you something. Even God's not pleased with that. So let's bring it all. Well, we could always bring it back to the Bible. God's not pleased with that. So let's not do that. So that's why I say the pieces that the pieces that you talked about, a booking manager, a PR person, those are critical pieces. However, an artist doesn't need to be concerned. Why are you concerned with that? Why would you concern yourself with negotiate as an artist? You got to negotiate PR. You got to negotiate booking managers. Artist managers are always saying this. I mean, artists, pardon me, are always saying it. Oh, I got to learn the business. I got to do all this because you want to do it. That's the thing. And so it doesn't have to be this way. I'm so passionate about this relationship because this relationship, the deterioration of the artist manager and artist relationship affects the industry as a whole. So now, Sherwin, you're dealing directly with artists, and even though you're dealing with them from the digital marketing standpoint, and even you, Sean, you're dealing with them, you're playing their music, you're curating. Dealing with artists is not easy. It's not, because their expectations are so skewed because they don't have someone to say, hold up. No. That's not what I'm expecting from Sean. Yo, that's not what I'm expecting from Sherwin. Yo, guys, I'm gonna sit down. Sherwin, I'm gonna sit down with you. Look, I'm working with so and so artists. I've had this conversation with them, but check it out. These are the expectations. Can you meet these? Oh, well, we can see the conversations are different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why everybody is worn out from artists. That's why they're worn out from artists. No other reason, because artists are out their place. I said it. Yeah, artists are out their place. And when you get into place and you get and have work with the artist manager, begin to bring yourself into a position through your work, then guess what? Then an artist manager comes along, like me, and he says, oh, I see what you're doing. You know what? I got somebody who has a platform that I definitely know we can definitely work with. Yo, hold on. I'm gonna call my man Sherwin. Oh, you know what? I do know a curator, on Audio Mac platform. Yo, let me call my man Sean. And their artists don't have to deal with that. And that's that I'm so passionate about this, fellas, because I really feel because I know I talk to executives, so I know that you guys deal with this too. That you're like, yo, oh my gosh, I gotta deal with this artist. You know how long it took me to get this picture. You know how long it took me to get this. You know how long it took me to get this. You know how long it took me to get that. And you're sitting there. You love the artist. You love the. I'm sure, Sherwin, there's artists you've dealt with that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to get this stuff on the platform, and this is taking me 2 weeks. I don't know why it's taking me this long. You know what I'm saying? There's artists you want to work with, but because they're out of their lane, they don't know, and it becomes burdensome for everyone.
So we got. I was going to say, go ahead, Sean.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to tell you to read Regina's
Yeah.
comment. So and I want to touch on that first, but go ahead, and then Andre can piggyback. But go ahead.
So she said, great points. But I do believe that there are many independent artists who can't afford a manager, booking manager, PR, etc.
That's fair. I mean, listen, I'm gonna be honest. Nobody's see. This is where the rubber meets the road. Okay. Now, let's keep it Bible, fellas. If you believe God called you to this, see, we like all the Bible cliches. We like all God called. He helps he has called, not the. We have all these cliches, right? But we don't believe. So right there to say that, oh well, I can't afford. If God called you this, right? Where's your belief? And I'm not saying necessarily you, Regina, but I'm challenging every artist. Like that, artists, independent artists, a lot of them, I mean, Sherwin, you can definitely attest to this. They want people they want folks to do work for free. They want work to do work for free. Or you out here nickel and diamond service providers. Oh, I know, Sherman, you cost this, but my budget is only for $2. Yeah, well, I can't make this happen on $2. What you want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's not real. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I hear that all the time about what artists, independent artists can afford and can't afford. And I mean, seriously, respectfully, if you can't afford it, don't do the music.
So let me.
Respectfully.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna
Go
say.
ahead.
So to that point, right? Because, and I think you said the word there, and I was waiting to come back around to that word, right? The B word, budget. Now, that's a critical component, right? And I feel what Regina is saying because, you know, again, like I mentioned, my wife, Yanetta Dessa, is an independent artist. And, we've had gaps in between when we were doing releases for her. We've had gaps in between if we're thinking about, shooting a music video versus, putting on a concert, doing all these different things. But now that she's going to be going back in the studio, come 2024, what we've been doing is sitting with the various individuals, sitting with producers, figuring out, hey, if I'm going to use this producer, what's going to be the cost? I've had at least 2 or 3 meetings with radio servicers, sat with a few of them. Hey, if I'm going to play this through radio for the next 6 months, what is going to be the cost for that? Kind of going down the gambit, speaking with individuals that may have access to other things that I don't have access to. Because again, if you have certain, publicists that can get you on certain, shows, get you on certain television, get you on certain types of places, that's going to cost, but they wouldn't even touch you until you've reached a certain level and you have something to show, because now they have to pitch you as well. But I'm saying all that to say, same thing when it comes to other individuals as part of that, and we're putting together a number. And once we have that number, we're gonna say, hey, this is what we know we need to go towards in order to be effective with what we're doing. Because anyone can release music, and to Regina's point, I understand that there's a cost and there's a sacrifice behind that. Again, you asked the question, I'm not saying directly you, but there's going to be a sacrifice that's going to be behind that. And then there's also going to be a plan. When you sit down and when you look at the plan, and when you look at the numbers, and when you look at everything else throughout that process, to say, hey, if I want to be effective, this is a number I need to get. So whether it means, I'm going to look for sponsors, I'm going to think of, creative ways to try to generate income. And again, having the right person on your team that knows about fundraising, that knows about different things, they can now start talking you through that process and going through all of that. But if you now do some of that research, and even if you bring in someone, and you can bring in a manager, it can be from an initial consultancy period, right? Where you say, hey, I have an album that I want to put out, or a single or whatnot, right? And I need your time and your efforts. Let me know what that's going to look like so that I can build this budget and build this budget effectively. And then once you have that, and that's your blueprint, you're like, hey, if I want to get here, I'm going to do this. Now, if I do this at 50% capacity, this is where this is going to look like, and 25% capacity, and so forth and so on. But a lot of times, I know individuals that go into a recording studio and they're going to pay for recording. They're going to pay for mixing and mastering. If they want it to sound good, they're going to pay for all of these stuff. And now they have this record that they're sitting on that they've already invested thousands into, and they don't go the extra mile. So it's like, why invest all this money into this product and then you don't go the extra mile to make it
Mm.
successful? I think for me, that's just doing yourself a disservice.
So
Hmm.
this you Andrew, you made a statement about if you cannot afford it, you're not supposed to be doing music, which is of course is gonna rub a lot of artists the wrong way. But because of the industry and how many artists trying to break through in it, there's just certain things you just have to do. And if you're not doing those things, your chances of really breaking through is very slim. Not to say that you're not a good artist, but because we have so many artists in this world on all different genres, You have to set yourself apart from the rest by doing things that is abnormal, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
understand that statement would rub certain artists, and I've heard it multiple times from different artists that's really doing well, and you have to really take this into consideration.
But you
If
know, can I go ahead?
mhm.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no,
I
no,
was
yeah,
gonna say this. I was
it
gonna say this. Go ahead
go
though.
ahead, good, go ahead, go ahead.
So check it out, right? This is so I understand that. I am of the person I believe, and I've always believed this, that most artists do not have the capital to to compete in the marketplace like that. So what I am a strong proponent of is, which artists fight me on this too, about artists making content. So that is an artist that makes content, right? And listen, let me clear this. Let me clear this. Content is not TikTok. Content is not YouTube. That's not content. Content is you being consistent in posting on pick a social media platform, Instagram
Mm.
or X or Facebook. Just consistently posting and sharing things that are significant to who you are as an artist. Telling your story, engaging with the audience, build the audience, and then you bring that audience off of social media by way of a newsletter, by way of I don't know, Patreon, by way of Discord, um, building, cultivating a fan base. What this does is this builds a fan base, and you will find that the amount of money that you are using to try to break through the noise, because you don't have enough. There's no artist right now that has enough money to break through the noise. Am I saying don't invest in your project? No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is every artist has the ability to embrace their own, in every essence of the word, channel, whether it be Instagram, whether it be X, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be Facebook, whether it be TikTok, whether it be YouTube. You have your own channel that you can reach and you can build an audience. That's what you first have to do, build an audience. Then what you have to do is engage with that audience, then pull that audience, deplatform them into a place where you now have the ability to really have engagement with them without being subject to the algorithm, right? You cultivate that fan base. And then from there, guess what? Now you create, you control what your audience is being exposed to, whether that be, hey, discount concert tickets, discount merch, all this. This is what builds state sustainability. But everybody's trying to still do the same antiquated model of, oh, gotta release, I gotta make a budget, I gotta make it, it's gotta be 50,000. It's only gonna get more, it costs more and more and more and more money to release music the traditional way. And most artists don't have $50,000 budget.
So,
No artist has that.
so that brings me to the question: for an artist that would release a song and they active, and then 2 weeks later they disappear until they release another song. So what would you say to that, Sherwin?
Hey, can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I may need to reset my setup, but anyhow, I'll go with this for now. No, so and again, I know Regina had a follow up question, but I think part of what I want, because again, at the end of the day, right, the goal of us being here is to ensure that we're providing sufficient, accurate information, not discouraging you, but
Hmm.
also just giving you a feel of, what's out there, right? Because if you're thinking numbers, right, on a given day, I want to say the number may be, plus or minus 10,000, but it's about 100,000 songs, tracks that are uploaded to Spotify
Yep,
every day. So
true.
keep that in mind, right? So if your expectation is that, sure, the statement that, Andre said may or may not have rubbed someone the wrong way, but I think what we're talking about here, we're talking about striving for excellence, right? We're talking about out of that 100,000, if you want to cut through some of that noise, there's a formula. There's a formula in every single thing that you're doing, every single industry, whether it's sports, whether it's media, whether it's music, whatever it is, there's a prescriptive formula there. But again, the one thing which is the elephant in the room, right? You have to be able to sing. Let's just kind of start
Come
there.
on,
We're
man.
going to
Come
say a lot of
on.
things. We're going to talk about a whole lot. But if you're in your church and your pastor and your family is telling you you can sing, but you haven't really sat and get your music critiqued,
Mm,
you haven't submitted to a panel of radio
mm,
servicers, you haven't had someone that has a really good ear, say, hey, take a listen to this. Let me do it not for free. What is it going to cost for you to listen to this song and give me your honest feedback?
mm,
And if you know that you can sing, let's start there. You say, hey, I can sing. Forget about, you can get a really great beat. You can get all these different things and it can elevate what you're doing. But we're speaking all this under the assumption that the person can sing. So that's out of the way. Now, what we're presenting here is that if you want to be able to cut through the noise and not just be one of those 100,000, but be one of those 100,000 that's making an impact, there's going to be a cost for that. There's a
mm,
simple formula. There's cost per impact. No one is going to tell you if you cannot afford certain things necessarily to not release music. So I don't think that's exactly what he's saying, but
No,
he's saying don't have the expectation that it's going to be able to be as impactful as you would like. Now
exactly.
there's viral moments that you may do something and do it on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, and we've seen all of those
shot, yeah.
viral moments where people have gone big in different things, and there's different ways, and again, different ways that things are happening. But at the end of the day, if we're gonna keep it biblical, and I know with the DemRoc Award is different categories and everything else, so even if someone is tuning in from something else and saying, hey, I'm not here for the God thing, I mean, I'm a believer, so a lot of my things it's going to be biblical. So but at the same time, I'm saying is that being a good steward in the marketplace, right? When you signed up to do this, you're signing up to say, hey, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to do whatever it takes so that I can be impactful. So,
That's
the
it.
end of the day, you can keep releasing, you can release a song every single day, but just think of it as that I'm releasing, I'm building, I'm honing, I'm, refining my craft with the expectation that once I think I got that song, that I know, whether I wrote it, someone else wrote it, but I have that song and I've gotten someone to look at it and I feel like, hey, this is the one. I know there's a formula out there. I have to apply for this one to get there. So
Mhm.
that's what I'll say to that.
Yeah. I mean, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
And
So,
you know, and Sean, I don't want, and of course,
mm,
again, I don't want to, I never want to discourage people from, from their passion, and what they really believe they've been called to do. What I do want people to really understand that there's no the music industry or just being an artist um, is completely in your control. Uh, there is what's necessary is for artists to really look at themselves, and this is something I've been talking about, and for maybe about 5 or 6 years, is the need for artists to look at themselves as businesses in their own right, and instead of trying to get put on, right? Um, here lies an opportunity for you to build a fan base through consistent and diligent work. And I've seen it. I've seen artists that have they've invested money, but I've seen artists that they've been wise about how they invest. I love how you what you said, Sherwin, because what I got from that is ultimately goes back to a word that you said earlier, is collaboration. You know what I'm saying? Collaboration is pivotal. Like, the music industry is about relationships. I think any industry is about relationships. I think every industry is about relationships. But this industry in particular is about relationships, and it's not that big. It really isn't. Don't get it twisted. It's not that big. You know, between Sherwin, Sean, and I, we probably know enough of the industry that if an artist came right now and said, "Hey," gave us great music and said, "Could we get signed?" Between the three of us, we can get them signed.
That's right.
Between the three of us, that's not hard. That really isn't. Like, it's between the three of us. There's probably one or two or even three phone calls. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say that because I think artists, again, um, I don't what I promised myself I would not do is I would not have artists be disillusioned with, or stay in this place of frustration because they see other artists doing well and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have that." No, you have access to the very same things
Mm-hmm.
that other artists have access to. It's not about the money like you think. You have access to the very same things. It's all about your perspective and your resourcefulness. That's what it's about. And resourcefulness is about looking at what you have and knowing how to utilize it. That's what resourcefulness is. It's not about, "Oh, I don't have no resources because I don't know nobody." No, that's not true. You know somebody, and you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can help you in a particular area. So I want to encourage artists to really embrace that. Listen, the only person that's stopping you is you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even the words that I said. The words that I said should not stop you. They should, as I hear people, they should have you say, "Wait a minute. Okay, I've never heard that before like that. And I see what he's saying. How do I now take that and apply it to what's happening with me versus saying, 'Oh, I don't like what he said. What he said, it was wrong. It made me feel some type of way.'" Da-da. No, I'm here because honesty is
Mm-hmm.
is 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 in love, or I should say, love is in honesty. And I love artists. I want to see artists win, and that's everybody that's here.
So,
No.
so here this important question before. Sharmin, you want to add to that?
Yeah, no. I want you to read that question because I want to chime in on that. So go ahead and read the question. And I'm loving that. First of all, I'm loving the interaction, and I'm super happy that everyone is interacting and tuning in. But Regina is also keeping the conversation going, and I love that standpoint she's taking it from. So go ahead and read it because I want to comment on that too.
Which one of the from Regina?
Yeah, so I was going to talk about the one from Regina in terms of let's see, there was one talking about, do y'all believe there's artist who's not simply in it for making money?
Okay, yeah, I
So
remember seeing.
so
Let's see.
that particular one is what I wanted to
Okay, go
comment.
ahead.
Yes, I want to comment on that. So part of that is, and I'm glad that that question was asked from the making money, because yes, a lot of times there's some artists that are comfortable with showing up and singing in your church and maybe doing a concert or two in your area and releasing music, self-releasing, self-publishing. And if that's your mandate and that's what you're comfortable with, then by all means,
Yes,
there's absolutely
yes,
nothing
agreed,
wrong with that. No one can
agreed.
tell you anything is wrong with that. If you're not in it for making money, then there's nothing wrong with that, because I've seen artists that would rather just play in Times Square and in Bryant Park and in the subways and that they're okay with just getting their art out into the world and being able to be a blessing to whomever they're being a blessing to. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So let's just kind of, you know, sound off on that. I don't think anything is wrong with that. But specifically, what I was referring to when I'm speaking, I'm talking about there's the music industry side and then there's the business side. And a lot of times, if I'm thinking about it from an investor standpoint, if as an investor I'm investing time, money, resources into a thing, at some point during that process, I'm going to want to make something back from that.
That's right.
And for the ones that want to make something back from it, there's ways that you go about doing that. There's ways that you say, hey, I may not want to spend, I'm going to put an arbitrary number, $1,800 a month for radio servicing. But if you're going to put whatever that amount would be, and you're going to spend that towards radio servicing, after a certain period of time, if your music is getting on, you know, uh, some of the radio stations that are out there, if your music is getting on satellite radio, for every spin, there's a certain dollar amount that you receive back for that. If you're leveraging stuff like Sound Exchange and all of that, and your music is being serviced right, and it's out there, you're going to receive a check back as that's continuing to do. If your music is set up right and it's registered with all the right PROs and so forth, guess what? Someone can now pitch you for sync opportunities. And if it lands in a sports game, in a video game, in a movie, in whatever, you're going to get a nice sizable check because of that. So there's different ways and reach and getting that song to the right ears that can reap dividend. But again, if you're not in it for money and you're not in it for going all the way there, then there's nothing wrong with kind of going that particular route. Absolutely nothing.
Good.
Agreed.
So, the other side to this is, as a matter of fact, let me address GTU's Owen Adams said. Let me put it on the screen. He said, "What you're saying sounds good, but it's not as easy in real life." And I think that was pertaining to um, being an artist and being able to spend money on your craft and stuff like that. I think that's what he meant. Continue on that, Sherwin, and then we're gonna go to Andre.
Yeah, I think part and hey Owen, what's happening, dude? And I think part of that, right, is what he's referring to of it not being practical. And I think that kind of goes back to expectations, right? And everything that I'm saying it within a framework. If the expectation is that, and I've seen Owen release music, and Owen hits the ground and he grinds and he's going to send it out, and all these different places. But even if you were saying, hey, I don't have the funds right now to pay for a publicist or to pay for a manager or to pay for all these different things, then in the flip side of that, I would say, start creating your machine, right? But still do everything in the spirit of excellence, right? Start building your local community, because you can be in a building stage until you get to a certain point where you feel as though, hey, I'm able to do X, Y, Z. What I mean by in your building phase or building your community on Instagram. Instagram has broadcast channels. You can create the broadcast channel. People can start adding, and you can start, sharing tidbits, and you can start growing what you're doing in that broadcast channel so that you can now build that community that's going to be supporters of what you're doing. Same thing with Facebook groups. If you think, hey, maybe I don't want to be on Facebook, with WhatsApp. WhatsApp is huge in the Caribbean. You can do groups. You can do broadcast channels in WhatsApp. They, released a lot of those new updates. So you can do different things to build your system, doing your mailing list, doing all of that. And you can continue to build your community and get to the place where you can say, hey, maybe I'm releasing merchandise through to my community. I'm releasing all these different things with the goal that once I make X amount, then I can now start doing some of the other stuff that really take my craft to the next level. But all of this is just coming back to And that's why whenever I sit and I talk to someone, part of the question is going to be, what's your expectation for this thing? What's your goal behind this thing? What is your purpose for what you're doing with this thing? And if I hear some of the answers, I'm going to say, hey, based upon what you're doing, what your budget is, what you're looking to invest time wise, and all of that, this is what I see more as a reality, and kind of level set to where that person is. But if the person is saying, hey, I want to run a campaign, I don't really care about XYZ, I just want to do this for a week, I want to do it for whatever, then sure, we can go about it this way. And then I can also explain other things in the process. So that's what I would say. It all about where you are, what you're looking to put, and then what your expectations for with what your input is and what you're looking as the output.
So let me say this real quick before I get to Andre. This is the Fuse Summit, right? This is the platform where we bring professionals like Sherwyn from Gospel Music Buzz, Gospel Music Buzz, and Andre from the Paradigm Shift, right? So everything that's being said here is not being watered down or sugarcoated in any way. This is just the reality of the business, because they deal with a lot of artists, deal with a lot of the industry, right? So feelings, we might get into feelings, but what happens is we have to look past that and understand your struggle. Where are you lacking in whatever it is that you're doing? Why is it that you might not be able to get to that next level? It might be because of this and that, right? So this platform here is to inform, educate, and to get and build stronger so we can get to that next level, right? So I know Andre have to get out of here in a couple of minutes. So um, this final question I'm going to ask you, Andre, is when an artist goes into the booth and the producer can tell right away that this artist needs a lot of work, they're not ready for what they actually signing up for, right? Yes, the producer might be strapped for cash and he like, you know what, I don't care, I just need to get my money and I don't want to encourage them or tell them that they need to do this and they need to do that. Do you think that is hurting the industry by allowing a an artist to just do whatever they want in the booth? The producer know very well that they're not there yet, but they still allow them and encourage them. Like,
See, you know what it is. These are the things. These are the pieces that I feel make make the industry seem shady. You
mm,
know, um, and I'm sure, like Sherman, I'm gonna use you for an example, right? So, 'cause I know Sherman won't get mad at me. He still love you, my brother. So, like, imagine someone like I go to Sherwin and I seen some of the work that Sherwin does, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have Sherwin run a campaign with my for my music and the whole nine, right? And I bring my my content pieces, my marketing pieces to Sherwin, stuff like that. And Sherwin looks at it, he's like, man, he was like, you gave me pictures that they're not even high res. You gave me pick, you giving me music, it's not even really mixed. You know, I'm looking at your socials and like you're not consistent with stuff. And for Sherwin to then say, well, you know what? Paying me money, I'm gonna take your money, right? He's the same as that producer that would take money,
mm,
knowing that an artist needs work. And I think that's what, and of course, not definitely. I'm not speaking to the quality of work of Sherwyn, because Sherwyn's my man, and I tell you, anybody out there, if you need work on a marketing and digital campaigns, you need to work with Sherwyn. Because
Definitely.
I remember when. So
Definitely.
I remember when. That's why I can say that. However, I am saying though, when we as professionals,
Mm-hmm.
when we don't keep a standard, when
Yes.
we don't keep a standard, we hurt the whole industry.
That's it.
We hurt the whole industry. It doesn't listen. Nobody's really gonna talk about if I give Sherwyn marketing pieces that's and he puts it through his network, they ain't really gonna talk about Sherwyn. They're gonna talk about me. That's what they're gonna talk about me. They're not really gonna because hey, look, and that's the problem. Everybody will say, hey, look, Sherwyn's just doing business.
Mm.
So it don't matter if we looking at it and it look crazy. It don't matter. Sherwyn just doing business. He just got the check. So people gonna be looking. It's not really looking at Sherwyn as much as people think. It's looking at the artist. It's looking
Mm.
at me who gave that to him. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, I believe people don't like this either. I still say that we need gatekeepers. We need gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
We do. We need somebody that says, yo, that's just not good. You need to work on that.
Mm.
We need that. We do. We do.
I I I think, and again, I can be very, very transparent with that as well too. I've turned artists, just to say no. I don't think you're ready, or I don't think it's a right fit for the platform. I've said that before, and it doesn't even have to do, from, you'll be surprised some of the stuff that would come our way. And I'm not saying even from a bad side of things, but also just from what's not aligning. Because with us, what we're doing is bring you the buzz and gospel and wholesome content, right? And
Mm.
there's, when I'm working with television studios and when I'm working with other stuff and we're getting, content that is out there, we still catch a lot of flack, right? Like, perfect scenario, like what's going on with this new film right now with, the Book of Clarence, right? The Book of Clarence that is out right now, the Jay-Z film. A lot of artists, a lot of, some of our clients and supporters were kind of pushing back on us, like, hey, why are you guys, we interviewed the director, we interviewed a bunch of others and stuff that's going to be coming out at some point, but we, sharing it on our platform and different things like that. I believe that there's a biblical message. Not every single thing I'm going to say, hey, I believe every single thing, because clearly not, but it opens up the room for dialogue. But at the same time too, if I'm going to stand behind a project or behind working with someone, I got to be able to defend my points on that.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, if someone comes to me and they send me something, I've received a lot of stuff and I'm just like, hey, I don't think this may be the right platform, just kind of based on what it is, but I can make recommendations, for others to say, hey, I think you should look at XYZ. Now, if something is releasing and it's strictly to say, hey, you as an artist want to be spotlighted on our blog, I'm going to add it on the blog, not a problem. That's why we started the Indie Spotlight playlist, where anyone can submit their music. And we're going to rotate it from, a week over week perspective on our Spotify playlist. We run, 4 different Spotify playlists. And I'm like, hey, that's my way that I can also get you, some spotlight on that front. But if I'm sharing something and I'm putting in a lot of the effort and running it through every single one of our channels and DMing it to radio servicers and DMing it to blogs on your behalf, I got to have some sort of conviction in it. And I
Mm-hmm.
can't just go straight out there knowing the thing is bad, knowing it doesn't sound right, knowing all of that. And I'm just saying, hey, I stand behind this 100%. But, again, there's different ways of going about different stuff. But at the end of the day, we try to make sure that someone can present themselves as best as possible. Same thing when it comes to, like, Andre mentioned, when it comes to photos and high resolution and all that different kind of stuff. I guess, Sean, I'll take it back to you. I have one thing I want to at least make sure I cover before we leave. I know we're probably up on time or close to time, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll kick it back to you if you need Andre's input on something. But I just want to kind of
No,
run through a
go
quick
ahead,
little
bro.
checklist.
Go ahead.
Okay, so In our bio, Gospel Music Buzz on Instagram, Gospel Music Buzz with three Z's. In our bio, we have a music release top 15 music release checklist. If you go to our bio and you click on the link tree, you're gonna see there's what's there. You click on it, it takes you over to the list, and basically once you go to that list, it says pay whatever. You just put zero in there, and you're gonna be able to download this for free. You go ahead and you download that. Some of the other things that I also wanted to mention, I know we were talking about all these other stuff, but if you're an artist and you're thinking, hey, I want to release music, or I have been releasing music, certain things just hasn't, I feel like for 2024, everyone says, new me, new this, new everything else. But
Mm.
there's some really quick wins I feel like you can do to start thinking when it comes to that. Outside of thinking about, again, presenting a professional image, when it comes to good photos, when it comes to all of that, what you're posting on your socials, ensuring that you have some kind of, even if you don't have the funding to pay for professional, graphic designs to be able to do that, you can use platforms out there you can use, right? You can use stuff like Canva, you can use other platforms that are there where you can use templates, you can create stuff, whether you're doing quotes, whether you're doing different things. But what you want to make sure is that your page just doesn't look like a bulletin board where it's just, hey, I'm releasing a single, and every single day I'm going to post my single cover. That's not being humanistic, that's not being realistic. People are going to get bored, and they're going to just think, is this person just a robot, or there's other sides
Mm.
to this individual, right? You want to go live a few times, you want to bring people into your world and show different sides. And that's what comes back to just, what is the what I mentioned before with the different broadcast channels and all of that. You want to be able to do those sort of things. Now, outside of that, when it comes to your bio, a lot of times, a lot of artists I've seen within their bio, they may not have their link tree, or other things may not be inside of your bio. If you're using link tree, or using different ways to basically put all your links into one place where someone can go and they can see and they can think, okay, this looks great, I'm going to be able to get access to all of that. You want to be able to just make yourself findable, make yourself someone to not have to do so much just to see and know what you're doing. Same thing when it comes to your Instagram or your social names. You can be Sammy, Sammy whatever, Sammy Fuse with a Z on Instagram, then you're Sammy Fuse with three Z's on TikTok, and then you're something else. Like, just think of yourself as a brand. Imagine if you were looking at Kellogg's and it's spelled so many different ways all over the place. It's going to bring about distraction. So just,
Mm.
there's really a bunch of simplistic ways that you can go about to be able to do that. I don't want to keep going through all of that, but I would suggest a list. And I would also say, just as a courtesy to Sean, is that a lot of the stuff that I'm mentioning here, for anyone that joined the live, if you just send me a DM and you say Fuse Summit, I can avail myself to whether it's a 20-minute session that we can kind of go through. I can fuse some of the questions, I can go through our checklist, I can do certain stuff just as my way of just giving back, for this, and just for overall, for a lot of the stuff to just be too much just to kind of run through. And again, this is nothing that's going to cost you. I'm not trying to make you a client or anything like that, but at the end of the day, a lot of what we do, we still have a heart and we still have a passion for artists, for creatives, for stuff like that. So definitely, reach out and we can go from there.
Awesome, awesome. So before Andre move um move on to his amazing situation, and we can't say nothing yet, but let's just say he is traveling right now and he's at a certain big situation. You guys don't understand the level of these guys. Anyway,
God is good,
um
bro.
say
God is
say,
good.
say your two piece, and so you can
God
go
is
back to your business.
God is
Man, this
good,
is
man. Listen,
awesome.
I just want to, first off, Sean, thank you so much, man. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for your platform. Thank you
Mhm.
for allowing allowing God to use you, man.
Appreciate it.
I tell you, man, I'm super, super, super excited about what God has been doing with you, through you. I believe that you are called to greatness right where you are, man. And I appreciate DemRoc. I'm looking forward to the awards this Saturday. If you're
Mm.
not, yo, if you're on this and you're not coming to the awards, oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, I just wanted to part with this. And then of course I would be remiss, Sherwin. You know how I feel about you, man. You and your family. I think, listen, anybody, all of you that are watching, listening, gospel music buzz is definitely the
It's
platform that you need
it.
to be tapping into. You need to be tapping
Mm.
into. You need to be working with them. I co-sign
Gospel,
on
gospel,
Sherwin.
just gospel,
I co
gospel.
I co-sign on Sherwin every day of the week, 24/7,
On
365.
it.
You
Appreciate you,
heard?
bro. I
You
appreciate
know
you,
what I'm
man.
saying? That's
For real.
real. And so I want to leave you guys. I wanted to leave everyone with this. Um, um, I want to see artists win. I want to see artist managers do some amazing things. I believe that we are anointed, appointed to do some amazing things in this time. The only thing that is stopping us, in any one of us, is how we see ourselves and even how we see God in us. Um, if you're an artist manager, even if you're an artist, um, I strongly, 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 not suggest, strongly have you hope you consider um, your why. And please feel free, subscribe to my newsletter, The Paradigm Shift. You can go to my website, andremullen.me. I'm here on socials, the Andre Mullen. Tap in with me. I answer every email. I respond to everything. Um, I'm here. I'm here to serve, right? I am definitely here to serve, and I want to see you win. And I promise you that 2024 can be your year, will be your year, if you literally focus on two things: being
Mm.
consistent and being diligent. That's how you achieve success. Um, I love y'all, man. I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate this platform. Yeah, man. Like,
Thank
let's
you.
do it, y'all. 2024. Yo, DemRoc Awards this Saturday. Oh my
We
gosh.
there.
I
We
It's gonna be
there.
I
hype.
can't
We
I
are
can't wait.
at the
I can't wait to
watch
get back
show.
to New York. My gosh, it's gonna be fire. Listen, listen.
Yes.
I love y'all, man. I gotta check
Love you
out of
too,
here.
man.
I
All right,
appreciate y'all.
Andre.
And
Appreciate you,
yo,
man.
we'll
Love what
speak
you're doing,
soon, man.
bro. Of
For
course.
sure. Thank you so much, man. I love y'all. Talk to y'all
I
soon.
appreciate. Love you too, man.
And Sean, even before you wrap, man, I even got to give you your own kudos, man, just for this platform, but also kind of taking it a step back, because I think a lot of times when
Appreciate it.
individuals see someone doing something, they may think, hey, this is something that is just happening now, right? But I want to also kind of go back several years, because I know from everything that I've seen with you, just stepping outside of the brand with the clothing, or stepping outside of the graphic side, because again, you've helped me in a lot of different ways, even with creating content and doing a bunch of stuff when we were covering shows, and we just got so much content and not enough time in a day to edit and different things like that. We've ran a lot of stuff by you, and you've been the eyes and ears even when we started the platform, so thank you for that publicly, but also too, from a lot of what you've been doing. I mean, you've always had a heart for music for years. You've had the DSP platform, which a lot of people didn't even know about,
Mm.
but you had the platform years now, when before Apple, or I would say during the time when Apple was still trying to figure out iTunes, and when they were still trying to figure that out, you had a platform where people could have subscribed and they could have streamed other artists' music. And
Mhm.
we were working then, you were putting my wife's music on that platform, and she was able to get streams and stuff. And even after that, you had the other physical platform where you could have put it in stores and different things, and people could have pressed a button and they could have played music coming out of this jukebox type thing. And then you had the other labels. So I mean, you've been in the music space, doing this now for over 10 years, 15 years, dating back with a lot of those platforms that you have developed, and keep changing ideas and one thing after another after another. So I think just taking all that you've invested into this space. Yes, this is the second year for the DemRoc Music Awards, and we can't wait to celebrate with you and the entire team and everyone this Saturday. But just your own commitment and your own love and your own passion for the space, I feel like that doesn't go noticed as much, because someone may now get into contact or know you from one aspect. But for someone that have been around and that has seen the maturation, and that have seen a whole lot throughout all of those different phases, man, I'm just super excited of where you are right now and the
Appreciate
growth and just everything else to come, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it much, man. You just took me back.
It's like 15 years, bro.
You took me back way back with when I man, look,
Yeah.
you're the first person that actually like brought this up after all of these years,
Mhm.
and it's just me being able to see what's needed and not being afraid to jump on things,
Exactly.
right? Not being afraid to jump on things. Um, I remember when gospel music buzz started and the conversations we had initially.
Even before I
And
launched it, and we were
yeah,
DMing and texting
yeah,
before that. When I was going checking the different names, checking this, I'm like,
yep.
I
And
should
then
do
you
this for
bought
the
and then you
domain
bought
or
the
that.
domain.
We were texting the exact moment when I bought the domain.
Yeah, and that was what good at what 10 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
almost. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's quite. Even when I landed the first huge interview and all of that, and we've just been and
William. So that was William McDowell, right? That was yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. One of the first when we met in person and we did that. And I gotta say, man, y'all get you get you a friend that's not gonna be jealous, but it's gonna support your growth. I
Mm,
cannot say this enough. When we were growing and we were doing all these different things, and even and I would shoot you certain, hey, can you edit this for me? Can you do XYZ? And we were going through. But even as the platform grew, we could not have spoken, I would say, maybe for 4 or 5 months, because we were both busy doing different things. And then the minute something happened, I would get a call from you, or I would get a DM, or I would see you do something dope, and I'm going to hit you up right away,
yeah.
like, yo, I
Yes.
know you're probably in between this, but salute
Yes.
to what you're doing, man. You
Yes.
need people around you
All the time, man.
that's going to be able to support your wins. Support your wins, not jealous of your wins, not trying to compete with your wins, but basically is going to support your wins and support what you're doing. And that even goes back to artistry, that goes back to everything, is building that core team that really has your back.
So let me ask this question here, right? And I want artist managers to really listen to the answer that's going to be given, right? Your platform, you only deal with gospel, right?
Yes.
But
Mhm.
let's say an artist would like to be interviewed by someone like you. They want their music to be on your platform. They want you to promote them. And this is on all levels of genre.
Mhm.
What are the things that you want from them for
Yeah.
it to really pop?
Yeah, and I'll answer that, and I would also just add a clarifier just to say, for us, our mantra is bringing you the buzz in gospel and wholesome content. So whether you're releasing a book, whether you're a poet, whether you're doing jazz, like anything that is just Christian and are wholesome. I mean, you're not cussing, you're not doing all of that. But putting that to the side, me as a marketer, as a media platform, if someone says, hey, I want to be able to, run a campaign. What do I need? The first thing I'm going to go ahead and ask them is to start going down the list. I'm going to say, hey, whatever this song is that you're doing, is the song properly registered? Is the song registered with the PRO? Do you have this, all these various things in place? We would get a checklist that we would go through. This is just me ensuring that the person is just covered. is your song registered with, if you're using Sound Exchange, you're using all that. I know things are different depending on where you may be living, but each jurisdiction, whether it's Canada, whether it's everywhere, they have something that you can get your stuff, registered just from your royalty standpoint. But I'm going to look for, I usually say, hey, send us, we're going to create a Google Drive folder, or if the artist already has one in place, Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever it is, and ensure it has their short bio there. So just a short speaking bio that's going to be there, a press release. And a press release is not your bio, but you want to have a professional written press release in a press release format. Because a lot of times when someone sends me something to say, hey, this is my release for the song, there's not a press release. They're just sending me a bio and they're sending me the lyrics for the song. I don't need the bio and the lyrics for the song. I need a professional written press release that's going to talk about who you are as an artist, what you've done, the backstory to the song, what is the song about, and then kind of go through, some accolades, if there's any at all, release date, links, and all those different things. Then I'm going to get a list of your social links. I'm going to get a list of your fan link, and your fan link could be your link tree. It can be all these different ones, but just one main link that someone can hit and they can see everything about you, your website, all that kind of stuff is going to be listed there. I'm also going to ask you for, what is your Spotify link, and all those different things we're going to pretty much put together. But definitely having all this information in a singular spot. If you're going to be pitching to bloggers, you're going to be pitching to, playlist curators, you're going to be pitching to individuals, a lot of this stuff is going to be, a lot of size. You're not going to be able to email every single thing, but having it, there's several platforms out there that you can have it on the platform and someone can just go there and download it, or you can just put it in one of these share folders and you'll be able to have it there. So you can just set it up, the folder as read only. You can just send that link as you're talking to individuals like, hey, can you check this out? And even when you're sending it to, send a really good intro email. Don't just, a lot of times I get DM, hey, check my message out. Hey, check my new song. And they send me a link. I'm not going to click that link. First of all, that's rude. Like, let's just be
Right
be very clear. That is very rude. And if I'm strapped for time and I'm looking through my DMs, I'm going to ignore that one. I'm just being honest. But if someone sends it, hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. I just released this. Do you mind taking a look? And I'm going to go take a look. And then I'm going to even tell that person, there's a link in our bio where you can submit it to be added to our Spotify playlist. And I'm going to tell them, and it's going to be added to our Spotify playlist. It's going to be, promoted through the platform and different things like that. But same thing when you're sending an email. If you say, hey, I get a little nervous when I'm drafting emails, then that's why you have different tools that are out there. You have a bunch of AI platform. Everyone knows about ChatGPT. You want to draft an email to pitch my song to a publicist, to a this, to a that. It's going to give you a starting point, and then you modify that and you're able to present yourself professionally when you're doing it. Not just, hey, check this. Hey, I got a really nice song. Everyone have a really nice song, right? But I think just being kind, being, professional, having really great photos in place, having all these different things set up already with all this stuff, because they're going to keep asking you for that, and having a press release, you're going to be leaps and bounds above, the average person that is just dropping music and DMing it to someone and not being able to do that. And again, there's various ways to even get your music placed on, there's internet radio, there's college radio stations that will play it. There's different places, but if you just approach them and you approach them from a proper perspective and you represent yourself well, there's a really good chance that someone is going to do that. And even if they don't do it, that first thing, you can still follow that platform and you can still take a genuine interest in what they're doing. So even if you meet them at an event, a lot of times the people that stands out to me when I meet them at an event, that someone just comes up, they introduce themselves, and they actually show like they've looked at the platform. Hey, that interview you did with XYZ, it was this, or that thing you said about that, then it shows me that someone A is a supporter, and I'm going to want to reciprocate that 100%. I'm going to say on the spot, am I following you? Let me follow you. Send me a DM. Just tell me this is the event I met you at. I'm going to go back and listen to your stuff after. But it's just basic networking. If you see someone is showing an interest into something that you're doing, you likewise is going to show an interest into what they're doing. And you can provide information. I always, even if I'm not running a campaign with someone, I'm always available. If they send me a message, hey, I'm thinking about this and this. Or a lot of times people go, hey, this person hit me up. What do you know about this person? What do you know about that? Even if I don't know, there's someone at some label somewhere that I can just DM, or I can send them a text like, hey, what can you tell me about this person? And I can ensure that they're going in the right path. So that's just some of the things I would say you want to be able to have that on the ready to go.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. Look, this has been an amazing discussion, right? An amazing discussion, and I appreciate you
Of course.
and Andre for
Yes,
your
yes,
input,
Andre.
in bringing this information to my small audience. All right,
Your audience. Don't smile about your audience. Don't even go
my
there.
small audience, respectfully, respectfully, right? Any final information you want to put out there?
Yeah, I would just say anything final. Again, thank you so much for for just giving me this opportunity. Can't wait to be there with you at the DemRoc Awards. That everyone should definitely get their tickets if they have not gotten it as yet. You want to get your ticket. You want to show up for yourself. You want to show up for networking. You want to show up for the culture. You want to just be there and support things that are doing and opening up different doors, and that are just celebrating excellence in the space in general. And I think that should be applauded. So I applaud you. I salute you for what you're doing, what you continue to do. You continue to pouring back into your time and efforts into all of this, so I salute you for that. Only other thing I would say, as I mentioned, hit the links in our bio, gospelmusicbuzz.com, gospel music buzz, and all social media platform. If you go to Instagram, in our Instagram link tree, there's a link there where you can submit your song to be added to our Spotify playlist. You can do that there if you want to check out that release checklist I mentioned. And even if you want to just, DM us, you have a question about something, you want to talk through some of the stuff that we might have mentioned this evening. Again, for anyone that is on this session right now, if you just DM me the word, Fuse DemRoc Fuse Summit, or the word Fuse Summit, I'm definitely going to carve out at least 15 to 20 minutes. If you want to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. And that's just my way, again, just to support what my brother is doing here. But again, outside of that, man, Sean, nothing but love for you, brother.
Yes, sir.
I salute you and everything that you're doing, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you so much. I need everybody in the comment section to just leave a clap emoji for both Andre and Sherwyn for an excellent presentation, and showing leadership, more so showing leadership in being real and being transparent, so that people can really understand and grasp that this thing is a serious thing. It's a serious business, serious business. So you guys really need to tap in with Sherwin, all the gospel artists that might be on this platform right now, on the live right now. Tap in with him. He is willing to do at least 30 minutes of free consultation, right? Just mention the word DemRoc Music Awards, the Fuse Summit. And
Yeah.
once you do that, trust me, the amount of, when y'all go on this guy page, you're gonna see, probably, yeah, go on this page and also go on YouTube, and you're gonna see the level, the caliber of artists that he's interviewed before. and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So this is not no fly by night person that I'm talking about here. All right. So it's just showing that level of respect for you, my brother, and
Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate everything that you're doing and looking out for me from jump. Right,
Listen,
looking out
man.
for me from jump, and I'm looking forward to
This
hanging with you
weekend.
guys
This weekend,
later.
man. Y'all gotta be there this weekend. We there. We there, man.
So you coming with your setup, right?
Are you gonna even have to ask that,
Okay,
man?
good.
I got
So
all my parts ordered. I even got my new piece that just came in here for me to mount on my tripod, man. Listen, man, I'm ready. I'm not just coming to sit down, man. I'm coming to serve. So
so this is the
whatever it is
exactly.
you need, man.
So make sure you stop at Sherwyn, and do a short interview because
We there.
best believe he's gonna package it and he's gonna put it on his platform.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
We're gonna
he's
we're
gonna
gonna
put
be
it on his
there.
platform, and he's your page, bro, is so amazing. Like the graphics, I mean, of course I do graphics and too as well, but them graphics and them animation and all them stuff is mind blowing, right? It's very simple but yet powerful.
Hmm.
And whatever it is that you want to get involved in with Sherwin, make sure that your stuff is presentable because you can't just take a selfie and then send it to the man. It doesn't work that way, right? So it gotta be presentable, right? It gotta be presentable. So that being said, I appreciate you once
Of
more,
course, man.
and
Take it easy.
see you on Saturday.
All right. We'll be there, man. Have a good one. Thank you everyone for tuning in.
All right, good. See ya.
All right.
There you have it, people. His page is Gospel Music Buzz on IG. GOS. So initially he had Gospel Music BUZZ, but he somebody hacked his page and he had to start all over again, so he wasn't able to get back the two Z's. So you have to add another Z to it, and because he built this stuff from ground up. So appreciate everyone that tuned in tonight. Again, this is the Fuse Summit, where we bring individuals on that is well educated in this business. The last one on 2022, we had John FX, which is he is Grammy nominated. He works with so many mainstream artists. And so I am aiming to always have top tier people coming here and sharing information to you guys. I love y'all bad, bad, bad. I love y'all bad. So I'm not gonna just dash up something and give it to y'all. All right. So um thank you once more for tuning in. And what information, if you haven't gotten your tickets, head over to eventbrite.com and it. Get it. Get it. We have some great, 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 great entertainers that's going to be on the stage this weekend. Right. So see you guys then. All right. Much love. Bless up. Peace.